With the conclusion of the NFL draft combine for interior defensive tackles finishing up yesterday, I thought why not come out with my top 8 prospects for this year's NFL draft. For interior defensive linemen, go through some strengths, some weaknesses, and some highlights. And quick disclaimer, this is a Detroit Lions fan page. Feel free to keep watching. Definitely keep watching because I'm just going to go through some strengths, weaknesses, some highlights. Let me know who your favorite team is, who you want, why you want them, when you want to get them, and keep watching along. Obviously, this is for any fan of any team, and I didn't do this for my cornerbacks because I thought this is kind of more important for defensive linemen, offensive linemen, and quarterbacks anyway. Prospect number 1, we have Tandre Sweat, and I'm not going to lie, this is probably my favorite overall player in the draft. Between him and Kool-Aid McKinstry, I would be fine with the Lions taking him at 29, and this dude is just, I don't even know how to describe him because he doesn't even seem human. 366 pounds. He is immovable. If you don't double team this guy, he's going to be in the backfield. He's going to be stopping runs, getting sacks, quarterback pressures. He's going to be unstoppable, and I really do not want to go up against him in the NFL. Looking at some of his strengths and weaknesses, obviously he's an unmovable force, right? Like, you have to double team this guy. He's an elite run stuffer, fills up gaps very well, good athleticism and effort for being 366 pounds, powerful bull rush, and he has game-wrecking potential. Some weaknesses that he's not an every down player. He needs more pass rush moves, and he does have athletic limitations because of his size and stamina. But honestly, pass rush moves, those are things that you can develop as time goes on. We saw Lee McNeil do it for the Lions. And, being not an every down player, the more stamina you have, the easier it's going to be to play 90% of snaps. So if he can work on his stamina, he's going to get there. And same goes to athletic limitations. I think we all want him to keep that size if you're a fan of this guy, because his size is what makes him so special. Like, you cannot have one guy on this guy. You have to have multiple. Otherwise, he's just going to bull rush through him, and he's going to get into the backfield. And his size is definitely important. But, if he can keep getting more athletic and, better stamina, it's really going to help him in the long run. I see this guy being a very, very good NFL player. Prospect number 2, we have another Texas product, Byron Murphy II, who is more of the pass rushing defensive tackle. He was probably the most dominant one in college football this year between him and another prospect coming up later. Byron Murphy, he's going to have a great NFL career. Why? Some strengths, great balance, great pass rush moves. He's quick and he has quick strike hands, meaning when he's on the line and the ball snapped, he's the first one to get his hands up, get him on the offensive lineman, push him back, make sure he's not getting pushed back. Some weaknesses is that he can be worn down from bigger O-linemen, and he does have low, small arm length, which we see a lot with college defensive linemen coming out, into the draft. So it's not the end of the world, but that can be, part of the reason why he gets worn down a lot. You watch this guy, you're like, yeah, this is a guy who's going to be good in the NFL. He gets in the backfield. He gets to the quarterback. He can stop the run. He's a great pass rusher and just great overall player, and I think he's going to be a great NFL player. I think that, a team like the Seahawks could really use this guy. Be a dominant guy in the interior, get 5-6 sacks his rookie year, and probably be an 8 to 10 sack guy throughout his career. I do see this guy being a great NFL player in the future. Prospect number 3, we have Chris Jenkins out of Michigan, who isn't the best pass rusher, but he's probably a top 3 run stopper in this draft. So some strengths for Chris Jenkins: he's great against the run, good swim move, and he's good at reading, reacting, meaning he's good at just recognizing what's happening and being able to react to that, be able to know what's happening and then be able to make the play. He's got a strong punch, and he's hard to move. Some weaknesses is that he needs to be a little bit better of a pass rusher. Double teams throw him off a lot, which, can happen, and it's not the end of the world sometimes, but can be an impact, but you never know. He needs more explosiveness, and he needs better lower body strength as well. He can get pushed around sometimes, especially on the double teams, which, most players do get pushed around on double teams, but again, this is a guy who's going to be a great NFL player and a great run stopper as well. I see him being very good. And honestly, maybe he's not the number 1 guy in the draft. Honestly, he easily could be the best. When I watch him, I think, this guy could easily be the best player in this draft. Once he develops a pass rush, you don't understand. He's going to be, if he gets 5-6 sacks his rookie year, he's only going to get better from there. He's going to be 8 to 10 sack, year kind of guy if he develops those pass rush moves and continues. If he's on a good D line too, if he has good guys around him, he's going to be even better. And I see this guy being very good in the NFL as well. Prospect number 4, we have Leonard Taylor III out of Miami. This is another guy who, look, I think he didn't have the best career at Miami. We're going to start with that. He was a 5-star prospect coming out of high school, one of the highest in his class, and he had a decent freshman and sophomore year, but his junior year didn't really live up to the hype, right? And he's a very, very good player. He just didn't have the stats, okay? Some strengths for him is he's very quick-footed with a rare burst for his size. He has very good quickness, powerful lower body, and strong tackler. Some weaknesses that he is very raw. He still has a lot to develop. He plays a little too tall sometimes, and he fails to locate the ball at times. So those are things you can get better at. He just needs more experience, right? He's only, 21 years old. You give him 2 years in the NFL, he's going to kind of get some more experience. By year 3, he's going to be a dominant guy in the NFL. I see this guy probably being a top 3 to 5 guy in this draft. I see him being a great NFL player. I think it'll take him time to develop, and that's probably why he'll be a 2nd and 3rd round pick. But as a Detroit Lion fan, I had him in my latest mock draft, getting him 3rd round. If we got him late 3rd round, that would be a steal for a guy who's going to have a great, great career. Prospect number 5, we have Horora. Hopefully I'm saying his name right, because that's a tough one. But Horora. Some things about this guy, I wasn't as familiar with this guy, but the more I watched him, the more I'm like, yeah, this is a guy who's going to be good in the NFL and definitely be a top 5 guy in this draft for when it comes to defensive tackles. I think he's gonna be good. He looks good to me. He's gonna be great. Some of the strengths for him, he's got a great combination of size, strength, and quickness and athleticism, which you don't see a lot for people his size. He's elite at penetrating in the backfield, and he has great burst. So weaknesses is that he's not consistent in the pass rush with his pass rush moves, and he's got a little bit of inexperience, and he needs a little bit better hand technique. So not the most experienced guy. I think this is the guy, I don't know if it was him or if it was another guy that started playing football his junior year of high school. It might have been Darius Robinson I'm thinking of, but I'm sure this guy, could be around there too. You watching him at Clemson. Clemson's had some good guys coming out of the last few drafts, and this is a guy who I think is going to be good in the NFL given the right circumstances. On a good D line, this guy's going to be a 5-6 sack a year kind of guy. Great run stopper. As you can see, his size is kind of weird for being a DT. He almost looks like a linebacker, but he is bigger with a very quick first step, and the more that he works on his pass rush moves and gets in the backfield, the better he's going to be in the NFL. I see him being a great player in the NFL, and he's going to be a dominant guy eventually. Prospect number 6, we have Drazon Newton, also known as Johnny Newton, out of Illinois, who is another guy. And I mentioned earlier how Byron Murphy was one of the most dominant guys. This was the other guy. I mean, you saw those stats. I think it was 8.5 sacks, if I remember correctly, and this is a guy who, again, this is probably going to be a top 2 guy taken in this year's draft when it comes to defensive tackles. I see him probably being a top 20 pick. I don't see him sliding past 25. I have seen mock drafts of him falling into the early 2nd round. That's probably the latest he'll go. I think anywhere from top 10 to top 35. But more than likely, he's going to be a mid to late 1st round pick. Some things about him, some strengths: great run stopper, great pass rusher, quick to recognize things, kind of like Chris Jenkins, know what's going on and react to it, and be good with it and just know what to do. Explosive first step. Some weaknesses that he has he's got a lack of size and arm length, and he needs a little bit more power, and he can get pushed back because of this. So, he doesn't have the best, explosiveness, being able to just push guys back, or not explosiveness, but he doesn't have the best power when it comes to, driving with his legs and stuff like that. But honestly, this guy's a great pass rusher, great tackler and run stopper, just great overall defensive lineman. He's going to be very good in the NFL. Prospect number 7, Braden Fisk. This is the guy who tested the best out of all defensive linemen in the NFL Combine. And this is a guy who, I was seeing, I was like, yeah, this is going to be a good NFL player. But you weren't really for sure with him, all right? Some strengths about him: he's got a great first step, very explosive, great size, speed, and quickness, high motor and high energy. This is very important, especially if you're coming to the Detroit Lions. You got to have a high motor and high energy. And he's great and he's got a great bull rush as well. So weakness is that he is not consistent. He's not a consistent pass rusher. Struggles against double teams, and he does have a small arm length, as we've seen, with a couple other guys as well. So definitely can get a few more pass rush moves. I think watching him, he definitely could get better getting in the backfield and stuff. Decent run stopper, very good at that. But being a pass rusher is going to make him 10 times better as a player. And he's been developing that all year. I see him being very good in the NFL when it comes to pass rushing because of his size and speed, strength, agility. You don't see it a lot with guys his size. I see him being very good. Whatever team he goes to, more than likely going to be a second or third round pick, anywhere in between there. He's going to be good. Prospect number 8, we have our final guy, Michael Hall Jr. out of Ohio State. And obviously you can see not the best pass rush guy. Some strengths for him. He's explosive. He's lengthy, violent hands. He's got multiple new pass rush moves that he's been working on. He added this past year. He's got a really good spin move as well that's lethal. And some weaknesses that he can be thrown out of his run lane at times. And he stands too tall at times, and he needs better initial contact. So obviously he can get better in the pass rushing game. He needs to get a little bit lower when he's trying, when he's getting blocked, get low, and can get thrown out of his run lane sometimes. I think as a run stopper, he's good at locating where the ball is, and you figuring out where to get him and how to tackle him, right? That's one thing that he is very good at. He's good at stopping the run, but he can get thrown out of his lane sometimes, but he still gets the running back. Pass rush wise, he can get pressure on the quarterbacks. He just needs to get better pass rush moves, which, like I said, he's been developing that. He developed it all year at Ohio State, and he only got better, and I think that's going to do him wonders in the NFL, because if he continues to just get better at those pass rush moves and get into the backfield, he could easily be an early second round pick, more than likely a second or third round pick again, and definitely going to be could be a top 5 guy in this draft, and eventually could transition into like a top 3 to 5 defensive tackle in the NFL if he develops correctly, which I think he will. He goes to the right team with the right coaches, 100%. Continues to get better at pass rushing, and continue to just do what he does. On the run game, he's going to be good. That's going to end off this video. Like I said earlier, let me know what your favorite team is, who you want, why you want them, and when you want them. Let me know what you thought of the video as well. Let me know any other guys that maybe I forgot about, maybe guys that you think are a little underrated, because I know there's guys out there that weren't included in this video that are going to be great in the NFL one day. Let me know who they are. Let me know what you thought of the video. Like I said, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And next video coming out Monday, I'm probably going to do a full first round mock draft for every team. Appreciate you guys watching, and peace.